Are you recording? Yes. Alright. Sitting here atop my hog. It's cute, but wrong-footed, mate. It should be on the right. I don't know. There's a British and a Japanese difference. Don't go reversing. What are you doing? Don't you dare, love. This ain't mine. 2017 Honda Rebel 471cc for engine capacity, otherwise known as a 500. I love the fact it's got a massive, great big dial, because that means I can't speed. Doesn't it? Gear shift indicator? No. There's very little on that dial. Just a bike. There you go. This is your bike. Go. Oh, it's stiff. Very limited travel. And this is why bikes are awesome. It's all good. The only thing I don't like is having to duck waddle. Small and manageable. Do you know what's great about this? Just throw a leg over it. Get out there and ride and enjoy the rides. Yeah, even on country roads you'd still be having fun, I think. Alright, me and you. Thee and me. Me and thee. Hello dear friends. So, today we are here to discuss first bikes. If you've just got your riding license, if you've just got yourself the A2 license, you'll be looking to buy yourself a bike, I'm sure, so that you can get out and actually start riding. I'm lucky enough that just the other day I got to take out Honda's new addition to the A2 license, the Honda Rebel. Is it rebellious? Nah, not really. Is it cool? Yeah. As always, we start with some of the more boring stuff. I apologise, we'll just speed through it, we'll power through it, so that I can tell you the specs of the Honda Rebel. First thing to say, you can of course get it in black, red or grey. All of those options come at the same price point of £5,400 roughly in the UK, minus a pound. What can you get for £1 nowadays? Fuck all. No one's walking in there with 5,400 cash. I'll have the Honda Rebel please. Slap. Who's benefiting from the quid? Anyway, now the engine, this is actually quite clever. They've got the same engine as they have in all of their 500 series. They've tweaked it ever so slightly, same as they do with any new bike, they just map it slightly differently. So, it's a little bit down on horsepower because it is a torquey cruiser style, and it's a little bit up on torque. Horsepower, 45 brake horsepower, and torque 32 foot-pounds. Apparently the horsepower was that 8,500 RPM, torque 6,500 RPM. Suspension completely unfancy. On the front you've just got two 41mm telescopic forks. On the back you've just got some Showa springs, only adjustable for preload. Tyre and wheel size, front and back 16 inches. Interesting, tiny wheels, non-spoked. I like spoke. Brakes are an important one because they stop you. Make sure you don't crash and die. So, it's got 264mm front disc one, and a 2-piston caliper. Tiny. In my opinion, slightly underpowered. Rear brake, couldn't even find the dimensions of the actual disc itself. Who cares? It's got one. And then it's got a single piston caliper. Again, slightly underpowered. It does though have ABS, because it is a new bike, so at least that will stop you from locking up if you really do want to hammer on. Seat height, 690mm. I love it. I love a bike I can just throw a leg over. Really makes me happy. It's tiny. Curb weight, 190 kilograms. It is not necessarily a light bike. Fuel tank, it is only small, but it's 11.2 litres. Apparently, with this tiny little engine, that should get you about 160 miles, I believe. It's got a fuel gauge. It's got a speedometer, tells you how fast you go. It's got a trip A, a trip B, and a total, indicators, an ABS light, an engine light, an oil light, a temp light. That is literally it. It's got a clock, Hey, you can tell what time it is. Extraordinary. Now that didn't take long, did it? No, because there isn't an awful lot to the Honda Rebel. That is a blessing and a curse. Because, do you know what? If you're buying that bike, you know what you're buying that bike for. Basically, in a nutshell, it is fun. Now, as I say, if you're looking for a bike and you only have an A2 license, let's say you're looking for a bike that fits within that 47 brake horsepower threshold, you'll find quite a few bikes to choose from. And they all play around that 47 brake horsepower threshold because they want to get as close to that as possible so that they can say they are the faster in the A2 bracket, or the fastest in the A2 bracket. Now you need to look into more about the character of the bike before you go buying. The thing is, Honda has you completely covered. It's a very intelligent, very strategic move from Honda. So, if you like the style of bike that is a cruiser, if you want to be a tiny mini little Jackson Teller with 16-inch wheels, then they have the bike for you. It's called the Honda Rebel. If, for example, you prefer a sporty bike, you want to look like you're going out for a track day, they have the CBR 500R. If you want a town bike, they've got the CB500F. If you want a kind of a trail or a touring bike, that sort of thing, they've got the CB500X. They've got everything you need. A different bike to cater for every type of person, practically. Since they all use the same engine, it only really comes down to one choice. What kind of rider do you want to look like? What kind of rider do you want to be? What do you want to feel like on it? What kind of miles are you doing with it as well? Because if you are going to do more mileage, then do not go for the Rebel. If you're going to do some touring, not the bike for you. It will go up to 70 miles an hour. It will happily sit on a motorway. And in sixth gear, it's still got quite a lot of torque to play with. So if you need to overtake to get out of the way of something, or just for safety's sake, you have that power to play with. However, if you're riding for more than about an hour, then your bum will start to get sore. It will get numb. You'll get numb bum. You'll also get numb hand. There's no cute name for that. It's not even funny, but it makes your wrist numb. The Stranger. No. I was on the bike for just over an hour, and these are all sorts of things that I started to feel. So I know if I was using that to go a little bit further afield, I wouldn't really want to. I might put up with it though. Now if I have to criticize the bike, let's talk about the actual characteristics of it. So setting off, first thing you'll find out is that it has a fair amount of torque, but you can pretty much wring its neck and you're still relatively safe. And then it will obviously shoot up in speed. You have to keep sort of chopping through gears a little bit quicker to cruiser, so you're not supposed to be holding on to revs. You should be changing through gears quite regularly if you are trying to build up speed quickly. Then what you'll quickly come to realise is the position. It's quite relaxed. It is a cruiser. Obviously you are in cruiser position. The difference to other cruisers will be your leg positioning and the fact that your knees aren't quite at a 90 degree, actually they come back on you a little bit. Cornering, it feels really planted. It's got such a low centre of gravity anyway, it's 690 millimetres for seat height, that it feels very comfortable, very set, quite poised when you're going around corners. It's got little 16-inch wheels, which means that change of direction can happen quite quick. You can actually whip it around quite speedily. It feels playful, feels fun. That's really the take home from this, is that it is playful. It's got big fat tyres as well. That's important because of course there's limited travel. The suspension is firm. If you go over a bump, it will lift you out of the seat instantly. Not a huge problem, but there's very limited travel on the back. There's also quite limited travel on the front, and yeah, you can bottom out those front forks. Then inevitably you will have to stop. It happens to us all. You're gonna have to use those brakes. And you know what? They are underpowered. I really did yank on to just see if they would stop you, and they do it quickly enough. You're not going to be doing a huge speed, but ultimately I'd prefer better brakes on any bike because that's the stuff that's going to save your life. The one thing I always miss with bikes like that is the ref gauge. I do quite like to watch it. I don't obsess over it, but I like to see where I'm at. Just from an interest point of view, I want to know where it makes its peak power. You can feel that, and the longer you play with it, the longer you own it, you'll come to know where that is instinctively. But it's just nice when you're trying to test things to see where it makes its peak power. As I say, 8,500 revs for horsepower. But you tell me where that is me, about here, about there. Yeah. Could it work for a town? Absolutely. If you're going out for a serious day's ride, you don't mind doing the whole setup and all the regalia in the morning before you head out. On this one, you really just want to get a bike and just go and ride somewhere. No hassle. And this bike is completely no hassle. The one thing you'll find though, if you do use it in a town, you're going to need to perfect your duck waddle. Any cool style points you've earned from riding this bike, you will instantly lose the moment you have to stop and get through traffic. Oh, sorry. Oh. Trust me. You'll get through. It's not like it's overly wide, it's actually quite a thin bike. It's got a good steering lock actually, you can get around stuff quite easily. Tiny little wheels as well. But it's a cruiser. It's got a lot going on directly beneath you. You cannot get your legs under that. You have to put them to the side. Oh shit, sorry. When you clip someone's wing mirror. It'll happen. I've definitely done it before. Yeah, I've hit wing mirrors. It's bad. The Honda Rebel is a brilliant bike. It's been a brilliant bike since it was first introduced. The only thing with the original is that it was underpowered. It was only a small bike. This one, 500cc. It's bigger. It's better. So really, if you've got an A2 license and you're looking for your first bike, or you've got a full license and you're looking for your first bike but you don't want one that's that serious, you want something that's cheaper so you don't worry about it as much. Let's be honest, people drop bikes. So you want to spend as little as you can so you're wasting less money if you do drop it, then honest to God, please check out the Honda Rebel. Take it for a test ride and don't be put off by the smaller engine size. If you are starting out, maybe you think you want something really big, just have a go on it. Maybe its fun and its character will really speak to you and you'll decide to buy one there and then. I know if it was me and I just passed and I had that money sitting there, absolutely, I'd be quite happy buying it. Thank you Honda, fantastic bike. Job well done. And again, it lasted the whole recording. It's amazing. Tastes like shit. Just can't go instant. Don't waste your money. On this. On the bike, yeah, it's not a waste. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it. If I say enough, will Honda give me a free bike? I'll have to change this and say I'm sponsored by you and that you give me a free bike, but I'll take that on. Take down the video, repost it, just tell everyone that I was given one for free. I know some people, they'll be like, hey, let's try and get to 20,000 views. Down below. 20,000 views. Come on guys, we can do it. Do you know what? Fuck that. Let's try and get Tim a free bike. What's the harm? You got a load of them. You're going to sell a shitload. Possibly off the back of this review. Maybe. Tatarawan. It's Welsh for goodbye. Goodbye now. Now. Bye.